I came out a couple Wednesdays ago. I was in extensive pain. And for those who don't know me, I am Kevin Clarke. I am your candidate for the Mayor of Toronto's post. And I went across this soup kitchen right across at a great church. It's the Church of the Lords or something. And when I went across there, they said, "Oh, Kevin, you're too late. We ran out of food." So at that point, I walk up the street, and when I checked my pocket, I had about 80 cents. I had enough to get a couple of things of noodles. At that point, I passed by a patio, and I said, I want to see the responses of people of Toronto if somebody's hungry and they need food. So I saw by this patio, and it says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please don't call the police." Oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I farted, but that's not a story. I said, "Please don't call the police. I'm not asking you for no change or nothing. I just went to the soup kitchen." I just went over across the street to the soup kitchen because I was in extensive pain, but they ran out of food. Now, I noticed a couple of you have food in your eating, and you might not finish it. Is there any of you with food? I am hungry. Any of you with food that you don't need? At that point, a waitress will say, "Hey, buddy, don't do that." Now, for those who know Kevin Clarke, I'm a very quiet person. I stay very low-key and very low down, except when there is injustice. When there is injustice, I get very, 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 very loud. And at that point, I got loud and says, "You're telling a man who's hungry not to ask people with food whether they give food? What you want someone to do? You want someone to go and rob them? You want someone to go and steal from them?" So at that point, I got up in this garbage can, and I started speaking about my campaign for mayor. I started about the issue about feeding the hungry, the issue about housing the homeless, about police abuse, but never denying food to anyone. At that period of time, I was just about to leave and to go get the noodles. An officer who had kidnapped me before, assaulted me, and forcibly confined me, and I laid charges in this court. It was pretty tough for you to lay charges against police officers when they break the law. As the next mayor of Toronto, I look to imply a system to where we are able to deal with those who abuse their authority of the law, and where those who have become the victim of abuse of authority by the law do not get criminalized at that. But back to David O. And at that point, the cop says, "Hey, come here." So I said, "Now look at this. The man who was hungry, ask him anybody has food to eat, and you call the police." At that time, the police grabbed me by my hand. I'm going to grab James here, grab him by my hand, and drag me to school. I said, "Now look, the police are drag me over here and says, listen." Okay, I said, "Listen, I am hungry. I'm going to get food to eat." He said, and I looked and I saw his tag. He said, "Oh, David Ho." Says, "Now." He says, "Kevin." I said, "Where?" "I am going to go get food to eat. You tell me if you're hungry. Don't ask people." Where's my bag? He's over there. He says, David says, "Listen, Kevin, I just want to tell you why we're here." I said, "I don't care why you're here. I am hungry. I'm going to go get food to eat." So, well, Kevin, and he had this says, "We're investigating the homicide that happened over at Bleecker a couple of days ago." Now, what I'm going to tell you, Clarke, is get out of this area, and get out of this area now, or you will be the next homicide. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's threatening death. But we can't go to a court long later. His partner was PC Manifold, and the officer's name was PC David Ho. Can you imagine? I live just across the street from where I was. So what you're telling me is that if I stay in that area, you will make me the next homicide. I have reason to fear for my safety and fear for my life. Why? Because this man is a Toronto police officer. He has a gun, he has a badge. And I tell you, I question the integrity of many officers in the Toronto Police Force. There are many great officers in the force, and I ask those officers who came as law enforcement officers so that we can be great peacekeepers and we can help maintain peace in society. And from the sacrifice made by these great people to our glorious dead, to their families, and to all their loved ones, I ask you officers to stand up. Stand up to officers like David Ho, who will think that the law is about what he wants to do. There's too much abuse of the authority of the law, and it's individuals like David Ho and those who have authority over David Ho that stand by and let this man think that he can do whatever he wants. Now tomorrow we might go to a court of law and lay a charge against David Ho. But as usual, they'll say, it's your word against his. But yet, I'm on criminal charges. because one person says something against me. How come it's good? There you go. Take a look, please. Got him? So, how come it's all right for one person to lay a charge against another through the word of one, but for you to lay a charge against the police through the word of one or two? That's not acceptable. You're it. Got him? Correct. So, Kevin, I want to tell you why we're here. We're investigating the homicide that happened across the Bleecker. And if you don't leave the area now, you will be the next homicide. Those were the words of David Ho. I ask the people of this city, is that acceptable? Is it acceptable for Toronto police officers to threaten to murder people? I'm Kevin Clarke. I am not just running for mayor. I am earning the mayor's job by dealing with the issues that deal with people of this city. Peace be with us all.
How do you spell that guy's name?
David, D-A-V-I-D-O-H. David Ho, and his partner was P-C-M-A-N-I-F-O. Something similar to that.